What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs, and let's talk about Cameron Johnson, the newest Mizzou football transfer. Before we get into that, I need you guys to do me some favors. First, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Second, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. And finally, check out our online store, underthearchsports.myshopify.com. We've got some cool baseball, soccer gear. There's going to be Mizzou stuff coming out soon. If that's what you want to hold off waiting for, it'll be there soon. Thanks, guys. All right, Cameron Johnson. He's an offensive lineman, transfer from the University of Houston, 6'4", 305. We know that Mizzou needs offensive linemen. It was terrible last year on the offensive line. Well, adding a first-team all-conference guy should help. Yeah, Cameron Johnson, first-team All-American Conference a year ago. He allowed just one sack, and guys, he's just better. He's immediately one of the best five guys, and we'll get into that in a bit here. He should have 2 years of eligibility remaining after having redshirted in 2019 and his COVID year 2020. Freshman year, redshirt freshman year, that is, in 2021. Now, he visited Mizzou April 13th. This was right after Mizzou had hired Brandon Jones, his former offensive line coach at Houston, to coach at Mizzou. But after that, he visited Colorado and USC. And, optimism kind of faded because USC, Hollywood, West Coast, national championship contention, and then Colorado, Deion Sanders. Not to mention the fact he was committed to Colorado for a bit when he was going through his high school recruitment. So, yeah. It was a bit of a surprise, and we'll talk about that in a second. I'm not going to really go into film because honestly, there's not a lot of film out there for a college lineman who's transferring. It's just really hard to find. But, again, he rates out as a better pass blocker than a run blocker. Again, he gave up just one sack. But when you look at his ratings, Pro Football Focus, they have a rating for everybody. His pass blocking rating was like 20 points higher than a lot of Mizzou's offensive linemen. Run blocking about 10 points higher. So, again, better than what Mizzou had. And that's probably a big part of the draw. Aside from, hey, it's the SEC, you get to play for the same offensive line coach. There's also the fact that, look, maybe we can't outright guarantee you a starting spot, but look at what we have on the offensive line. If you play the way you're playing, you're going to be a starter. That's an easy recruiting pitch that Mizzou could truthfully make. And it paid off. Now, Cameron Johnson, it's interesting with Missouri, their biggest need is at center, I would argue. Johnson is a guard. So he said in interviews that he doesn't really care and he can play center. I think it'll depend on if Missouri adds anyone else on the offensive line transfers. If not, I would say put him at center. We'll see what happens. This is an especially important commitment because the other transfer that Mizzou was going after, Troy Everett, he on Friday announced his commitment to Oklahoma. So it would have been a devastating blow to morale to lose out on both guys. But as it is, getting Johnson to commit to the Tigers is a huge morale win. And let's face it, when you put this guy into the offensive line, you are making the weakest aspect of this team much better immediately. So by doing that, I think there's going to be a whole different level of energy around this program just by adding this one guy, just because he is going to be such an improvement to what was the weakest part of the team. Hey, He was not Mizzou's only commitment on Saturday. I'm about to film the next video on that. You guys will have to check that out. But for now, thank you for watching Under the Arch Sports.